Today's video is on how to create logos using AI. We're gonna hit the streets, look at all the inspiration around the streets here, and we're gonna bring it back, plug it into AI, break it down, dissect these logos, and then I wanna take you through the step-by-step process of generating the logos and finishing it off. Anyways, let's begin.
Okay, so we are going down the hip district of the city that I am in. It's Chiang Mai in Thailand, and I wanted to walk around, showcase the cool logos that I see, and explain to you different aspects of those logos so that we can take this away and then go and create our own logo. Now let's look at this logo, Artel Niman. This one is very interesting because it's pretty contemporary, but also its own custom font. You can see with all the hooks at the end, but it's super unique. There's the residence, and it fits with the brand that the logo conveys. Now here's this one. I like this a lot because it's so universal. It's two colors, it's simple, it matches this theme. Like, this theme is pretty timeless. It's not targeting a particular age group. There could be old people, young people, families. There's young people coming in right now. Now this I already like just by looking at it, because if you see it, you can tell the vibe instantly for the most part. And here is the property. It's not a particular restaurant or anything, but this property and the branding of the number is just spot on. All right, now this is a massage place with a really cool logo. And it looks like this. It's got this desert kind of theme to it. It's very desert Western, like American Western look to it. And the colorways that it shows fit with this perfectly. Like the light off-white, or the off-white, the light gray over there, and the wood is slightly faded, so it's not completely brown. So it fits perfectly with that theme. Okay, this branding I really like. Two colorways, red, and a very minimal. It's just done so well that it blends in with this whole design that they have in the back too. And all their other logos are also well done. Look at this one, very minimal, a almost handwritten, hand-painted feeling on the sunmat, with a hint of the red dot in the back just to finish it off. And you could also see that it uses the rule of thirds as well. The sunmat is a third of this whole thing. So very good spacing and just well done. This whole place is beautiful. And also the art here is really nice. Now directly across the street is this hotel, and it's also got a very nice and modern look to it. So the colorway you can see is a gray, kind of matte faded colorway, and the stay collection is done in a contemporary way that highlights how a brand logo looks. And this would be able to target or speak to people who are millennial, older millennial, because it also has a luxury hotel feeling to it. Because if you look at contemporary 5-star hotels, like in some of the top places in Europe, this is a similar brand design to it. They use the faded colorways like this, and also the serif fonts, the ones with the curve, and also all caps. This branding is also really cool because it's super modern, kind of like the Apple Store or something, but it's advertising for a bar. And the bar outside is also very modern looking too, so that works with its brand. Like the owner probably has this bike right there, and the colorway is pretty like a monochrome kind of apple, dare I say. Like, it's black and white, it's very simple, and it kind of works together very well. Okay, I really like what is happening here because this is just magical. I think the brand is called Chewberry, and eclairs, desserts, teas, and coffee, and it's got a kind of fantastical looking. So you can see the logo is all caps with a serif font in that one as well. So it has this kind of luxury type feeling to it, and also these are also serif fonts. I wouldn't be surprised if underneath it's a sans serif, but this has a overall very luxury type look to it. So it's pretty cool to see. Okay, check out this bar's logos as well. Why me? Why me? And it's very modern. It has this almost Stussy looking from the 90s, the brand Stussy, implemented onto a black and white monochrome type background. And that's for the scene here. And then if you look at this other logo, it's just a side logo that is to draw attention from the street. So it's a white and red and just super minimal, fits the whole vibe here. This logo is really cool too, to highlight this place here, Durianism Cafe, all in a sans serif and a logo image icon on the side. And this is done in such a modern, contemporary way that I just really love how all of it is put together. All right, another one that's really interesting here is Office of Fish, which is a omakase fish restaurant. And this whole aesthetic is very both modern and utilizes the vintage aspect of where it's at. Because as you can see, it's an older building, but they've retrofitted it to look both classic and modern at the same time. So this logo, with how simple and minimal that it is a testament to the contemporary, simple, minimalist logos that are out now, or like very common, and that totally fits with the vibe of the place that they're creating.
All right, so now that we've seen all the logos on the street, let's bring it into ChatGPT. We're gonna analyze these logos on ChatGPT and then figure out how we can use the inspiration from these logos to go on and generate our own logo. Now for this practice, I'm gonna use something that, since most of these examples that we have here are either restaurants or hotels or something that is customer facing, let's do something in the line of that. So these are all the logos that we have. I'm just gonna scroll through them really quick so you can get an idea of what they are. Now, I'm gonna pick one that I really like. And for example, I like this one a lot. We're gonna drag this into ChatGPT, and from ChatGPT, I would ask it to please help me define the line styles and elements of this logo. And from there, it's going to return to me a couple of words that we could potentially borrow and use as we are generating our own logo as well. So from here, what we see is bold, stylized Thai text in red. Okay, so let's keep the bold, this is important. And follows a curved rectangular shape. There are decorative lanterns hanging out. Now, as I prompted this, I want to know more about the line style. So I would ask it to be more in depth about it, because this seems pretty general. So can you go more in depth about the line style and the thickness, and then we'll have it generate something. So ideally, what I want is to understand this logo style and then generate an image that's similar to this logo style, and then we can add our own text with whatever font that we prefer following that. Okay, so here it breaks it down into the text. So the text is bold sans serif, yes. Border is also thick, matching the thickness of the text lines, okay. And it follows a curved rectangular shape. I am more curious about just the way that it's outlined and how thick it is, but for the most part, I think it's done its best. Let's try and throw another example of the logos at it. So here we have this one. Please provide me with the line style and how it's done with the logos, actually. Now, there are a lot of other ones in here that are really cool as well, but we'll just go with a couple examples because we can't go through all of them. We could in another video if you want. Let me know in the comments if you want me to go through every single individual example on future videos. So this one, it uses a neon light style characterized by glowing continuous lines, all right, relatively thick and bold appearance, all right. So from here, we can see that these are relatively thick line styles. The art is pretty minimal, like these are pretty minimal. Let's throw in another example that I really liked, which was Durianism. Please tell me about the art on the left side of this logo. Be specific about the line style, how it's drawn, the shape, etc. Now, I want to learn the visual elements of this particular image part of the logo. So I'm asking it to break that down for me so that we can use this as inspiration And then on this next step, we're gonna bring this inspiration into creating the image for our logo. Now here, it also mentions the neon, similar to the text, uses bright glowing colors. So yellow in this example, and lines are smooth and continuous. Okay, so I do like this one. Lines are smooth and continuous. So let's paste this on the bottom, just to note. And then for the shape, it has a central element of a durian fruit represented by oval shapes and yellow. Okay, so this is very specific about the fruit itself, which if we were to make something that is a fruit, we could also probably use this as an example. So why not just keep this in mind? Maybe we'll go back and we'll borrow it. And then finally, for the drawing technique, it uses a luminous effect, but that's probably because the image is like that. And the inner yellow lines form the core, while the green outer lines some add detail and context, giving the impression of the fruit's characteristic spikes. Okay, so mainly what I got from there was lines are smooth and continuous, and then it also highlighted some of the other aspects of the logo. So from here, we're going to just copy this, and then I'll also add bold, minimal bold lines, which are smooth and continuous. Okay, so now let's jump into Discord. Or if you prefer, we could go on midjourney.com. But personally, I prefer Discord, so we're going to /imagine on Discord. And then for a restaurant, we're gonna use the example of a bao bun logo in minimal bold lines, which are smooth and continuous. Now, for a logo, I prefer to have a blank background. So blank white background, and we could just render this to see what it comes out looking like. Now, remember the example that we mentioned here, where the shape is the central element with two intersecting oval lines. We could potentially use this description to come up with a description for our bao, which is a Chinese bao bun. It's a white milky bun that's very tasty. If we go back and we use this as the inspiration, we could say bao bun as central element represented by intersecting oval shapes in bold, minimal lines that are smooth and continuous. Now I'll go back to Discord and I will go and imagine logo of bao bun as central element represented by blah 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 that we had come up with earlier. So let's paste this. Now I forgot one thing. I forgot to put the blank white background, but this will show you what it's gonna look like. Now I'm gonna render another one that has the blank white background on a blank white background. Bao bun logo. Let's just do that. And maybe having Chinese bao bun would be better because that will exemplify the fact that this is a Chinese bao. So I will do Chinese bao bun logo, or logo of Chinese bao bun as central element represented by intersecting oval shapes in minimal bold lines. Now, if we look at this, there are a lot of different colors. So if you do want something that is more simple, maybe just say in black and white. So on a blank background in black and white. All right. So this doesn't look like a bao at all. These are just very minimal shapes. This first example was the best. I actually like this the best. So maybe we could do something like this, where we remix this image, this generation that they gave us, and then we'll do a shape of bao bun. This way there's a more for sure. And so we're gonna let this render. And now this other one came out, as you can see here too. It's also very, very interesting. It's cool as a logo, but for something where we're trying to do a bun bao shape, like this doesn't fly. So we have to, first of all, get the shape of the bao bun. Now, this one is looking like it's very promising. And it's not exactly the same, but it's pretty good. So let's go and change this and remix this again and say shape of Chinese bao logo in minimal bold lines, blank white background. Now what I like to do sometimes is to have this repeat multiple times. So I'll go back in there and I will put repeat 2 or something, just so we can render it a few times and have, every time it renders, we have 4 examples. So if we render it twice, we'll have 8 examples, which is a lot more helpful. But I think we're getting close to the final product, or at least something that we can use. Now, this looks really good. This top right one looks like steaming hot
bows. Now let's wait for the last one. If the last one doesn't come out with anything that we can use, then I'll use this one on the top right with the steaming hot bows that are looking like it's sitting in a basket that's very tasty. All right, so we're seeing this come to shape, but we're not exactly sure how it turned out. So give it some time. And it does look good too, but it's more of something that looks like a garlic. So I think I'll go back and use this steaming hot bow on the top right. So as you can see here, it's gold, but it's okay. If we bring it into our software, we can change the color of it. All right, so this is basically the main part of finishing your logo, because now you have the main part of it done, the image, the graphic representation of it. And the next step is really to just take it into another platform and then adding your own touch to it. Maybe it's changing the colors, or you're adding the text that's fitting for this logo. Depends on you. So if I were to change the color of it, I would take it into Photoshop, but the color's nice, it's gold. I'll bring it into Canva, and I'll show you how to just finalize this design in the last few minutes that we just worked on. So here we are loading up Canva, and with Canva being here, I'm going to drag the design that we just did, and then here you can see our design. So I'm gonna pull it up just to get it bigger. Now, as you can see, there's a bit of a background in our design, but luckily I have Canva Pro, so we can use the background remover, and this will isolate the logo out so that you can essentially have close to a vectorized image of this logo. But if you do want to vectorize it, there are other services that you can use, but essentially this is fine for our needs right now. And I will drag this big logo up. And then the next step to finalize it is to add the text that would fit here. Now, there are lots of different types of modern text that you can use that would be very fitting for this. We can go back and look at what we saw and analyze all of those fonts or text, or we could just ask ChatGPT for something that is contemporary or modern. What are some contemporary and modern sans serif fonts to use, available on Canva preferably? And then it gave us this list of Montserrat, Railway, Open Sans, Poppins, maybe something more hip. So we could experiment with some of those. Maybe we'll do Montserrat. And what are we gonna name this shop? Maybe Awaken Buns? I don't know, just a random name. And of course the color needs to match. So we're gonna pick a color, and we're gonna pick it from the bun itself and take the gold, and then we'll have something like this. Now, I think the lines are thick, so the logo or the text itself should be a thicker line. So let's just make this a bit smaller so that we can fit everything. Now, once this is smaller, this does look like it fits a bit better. But I do want some thicker lines on this. I think that this is a bit too thin for a logo at least. So if we are making a restaurant, we want a big sign outside, we should have thick lines. So from here, we can look at the different fonts that are available. But really, this is the fun part. You get to look through all these different fonts and see which fits best. Now, this one's really cool. I like how this font looks on there. And if I were to make it bigger, it's fitting in terms of like spacing and size, but the thickness of the line is too thick. So we would have to choose another font, in my opinion. All right, so I'm gonna go back to the Bavis Nua. I like this. I think once this is stretched to be a bit bigger, it would make for a cool look here. And of course, let's make this a bit more hip by taking out the vowels. And if we make it a bit smaller, it will have this very luxurious effect as well. So potentially this works. Awaken Buns with this gold logo on it, stamped on a bag. I think it will look good. Now, if you want to take this logo further, you could add different design elements on the bottom, like different shapes or lines or the city name, but essentially it's all up to you. All right, so you saw how simple it was to go out and look at inspiration, bring it into your computer, and apply an AI process to generate logos. Now, I do need to add a caveat, is that if your brand is picking up, is going crazy, and you have the budget to hire a logo designer to create a bespoke logo for you, that's going to be infinitely better because they can work with you on your specific needs. They have years of experience that they can apply so that your logo is the right fit and feel for your brand. Also, I do have a class section linked below that if you want to learn anything for creatives using AI in their work, then check that out.
And if you appreciate this video, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, do whatever it is to support, and I'll see you in the next video.